I eat beef and salt and water. That's it. And I never cheat. Ever. Not even a little bit.
What? Jordan Peterson announced that he's following a carnivore diet, and everyone's losing his mind. Does such diet make sense? Aren't there any deficiencies? Why does Jordan Peterson, such a smart man, even follow such a restrictive diet? In this video, I want to answer all of these questions. For those that don't know why they should listen to me, I'm managing a fitness center with over 1000 regular members. I acquired my fitness certificate as a top 2 graduate in the entire Switzerland that year. They even sent me a cool award for achieving that. I did an econ course on nutrition, read tons of books, and got a really cool side hustle where I coach plant-based professionals to get their best shape ever, so they can get the most out of life. Here are my 2 cents to Jordan Peterson's carnivore diet. First of all, I can't help but feel such a deep respect for Jordan Peterson. He got such style and IQ north of 140, and he knows how to move an audience, but he also knows his boundaries. He states multiple times in the podcast that he's not an expert in nutrition.
This is why I wouldn't recommend that anybody does this casually, because we don't understand much about it. Disclaimer number 2. I am not recommending this to anyone. But again, like I said, I'm out of my depth here. But
this just shows his responsibility for the audience and makes JP much more trustworthy in other areas where he's truly an expert in. And the truth is, I can understand Jordan Peterson. He dealt with mental issues his whole life. Suddenly he starts a dietary change and everything subsides.
Well, imagine that you wake up and that you remember that all your family was killed in a horrible accident yesterday.
You would feel that even
all
if nothing
the time.
was wrong.
Yes.
Just
It's actually worse than that.
What?
I had 50 health problems and I stopped eating everything but meat and they went away. It's like, oh sure. It's like, yeah, well, wasn't you dying?
I mean, when he slipped for the diet once, just once, he apparently couldn't sleep for 30 days.
You were done for a month.
Oh yeah, it took me out for a month. It was awful. I didn't sleep for 25 days. I didn't sleep
What?
at all. I didn't sleep at all for 25 days.
How is that possible? That
I'll tell you
you
how it's possible. You lay in bed, frozen in something approximating terror for 8 hours, and then you get up.
What? If your life is on the line and the only thing that helps you is a carnivore diet, who wouldn't at least try to follow it? Hell, I'm a vegan, and if I had the choice between not sleeping for 30 days or just eating meat, I would probably opt for the freaking meat also. The point that I want to get across is that we can all learn from Jordan next time we state a controversial point. We need to tell people where we come from and consider their side of the equation. Let's take 1 second out to just embrace Jordan's personality, understand where JP comes from, and be thankful for his humility. While Jordan Peterson is definitely an MVP in many ways, we still have to address his dietary choices in an objective way. And the truth is, while it works for Jordan Peterson, the carnivore diet might not be the optimum thing for all the followers of JP. Jordan has amassed a huge following, so every advice that he gives out in the world, even if it's as an uninformed citizen,
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, this is all a mystery to me.
will have wide-reaching consequences. Some kids will say, JP is on a carnivore diet. It must be the best thing for me too. The main thing why the carnivore diet may work out is because it's an elimination diet. The symptoms that Jordan Peterson is experiencing are most likely an allergic reactions on the gut microbiome level, but I'm not sure here. And if you cut out all the foods that you're allergic to, guess what? Your symptoms may change in the short term. You can do the same thing with a potato diet or a rice diet and you might be able to see the same effects. You take one food where you see no negative effects and you just eat that. Elimination diet in a nutshell. The way an elimination diet such as the carnivore diet works is by killing off all the bad stuff in your body, but also some of the good stuff. It's like chemotherapy, which is a substance that kills all the fast dividing cells. That's why cancer patients usually lose their hair, because hair cells are dividing pretty fast. Killing off all these cells is good for beating cancer because the benefits are worth the risk. And I want to make this clear, this is not a medical diagnosis here, because 1 I'm not a doctor, and 2, I'm a complete stranger making cool videos on YouTube. Subscribe, my man, subscribe. While JP and his ancestors with the same autoimmune disease have probably talked with hundreds of certified doctors about the disease in general. I'm learning from Jordan Peterson already. This is QG's way of being humble. The carnivore diet may work for people in the short term, but for the majority the medical data available indicates that it's not that great in the long term. And we don't have to be scientists to see that this diet of beef, salt and water is very restrictive and lacking key nutrients, such as vitamin A, C, D, E and K, calcium, magnesium and omega-3. But if Jordan Peterson is so smart, why doesn't he read about this data? Because we all are delusional. We lie to ourselves all the time. We can be our biggest friends or our biggest enemies. We think we can perfectly drive a car when we're absolutely drunk. We think we're over a bad breakup, but then we suddenly feel lethargic. We think we can survive on 3 hours of sleep, but we can't function without drinking our 5 cups of coffee in the morning. Just look at how Joe Rogan lies to himself in a podcast here.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is when I read people's accounts of trying this diet, it's almost universally positive.
Yeah, I know.
Brock Lesnar was actually the UFC heavyweight champion who ate nothing but meat. He was a crazy person. And he got diverticulitis. And he had to get 12 inches of his colon removed. Pretty serious operation.
One time he describes that he doesn't know any people with negative side effects on a carnivore diet, but he talked about Brock Lesnar and his health problems on a podcast in the past. And I mean, Jordan Peterson questions the entire food pyramid, which yes is influenced by the economic needs, but also by medical interests.
The goddamn food pyramid was made by the Department of Agriculture, not the Department of Health.
Because, breaking news, the government wants to keep us alive because someone needs to pay taxes. JP even disregards the importance of vitamin C, which literally has ended lives since the 13th century.
Like vitamin C, for example.
Yes.
Turns out if you don't eat carbohydrates, you don't need vitamin C. Huh, who would have guessed that?
How's that work?
I don't remember.
And here's the thing, you might feel great on the carnivore diet, but our subjective well-being is not necessarily a good marker for our overall health, because there are many factors influencing it, like status, income, family bonds, personal life, passion for one's work, etc. What truly gives us more information is a blood test, which Joe Rogan rightly, but also annoyingly, asks for all the time.
I want you to get your blood tested because I think,
Yeah,
well, I want your blood profile. I want to find out what's going on with you.
We all have to realize that we lie to ourselves. The sooner we learn to embrace the truth and live in the truth, the better. I really like Jordan and his outlook on life. I also like Joe. I think he's a complete badass. He even made a video about both of these guys. Our well-being is influenced by multiple factors, and the way the carnivore diet may work is by mimicking an elimination diet, but we don't know for sure. While different things work for different people, there's a general guideline to how we should eat. That's why we do medical studies in the first place. If we don't have a serious autoimmune disease, therefore, we might as well follow those practices. If you like this video and want to know more about fitness, nutrition, mindset and health, and how these things can help you get the most out of your life, subscribe to this channel.